Hello, welcome to this introduction to Candida treatment and gut health balancing. My knowledge is based upon my own experience and my own battles with Candida and consulting with patients approximately for the last four to 5 years on their own gut imbalances and the symptoms that manifest from that. Now, this is a large topic and this is an introductory video just to really show what it is that I can offer. My background, as you can tell from my website, is in general practice. Prior to that, I've worked in emergency medicine and intensive care medicine and anesthetics, and now I practice solely Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and advise on nutrition and movement. With regard Candida and gut imbalance, this is an ideal fusion of East and West, and I found it to be very effective both in my own return to health and in those of my patients. So to give an overview and to keep it as concise as possible, there are three main areas that I will consult in and three main areas that I offer advice in, and they are broad, but they give a lot of room for manoeuvre and a lot of empowerment to people to try and gain understanding and go on and take on their own healing journey with this. Because as I remember from when I was researching my own issues with Candida, there is a lot of information out there. It is very confusing and there is not a lot of integrity, not a lot of accountability, and not a lot of follow-up. And it's very easy to become lost at a very difficult time. So, in terms of the contributors to gut imbalance, I divide them really into environmental, dietary, medical, meaning previous medical treatment, and relational. So with regard diet, as we all know, or increasingly we are finding out, there are substances we are ingesting, namely antimicrobials in meat and food, antibiotics, antifungal agents, chloride in water, fluoride in water, which are drastically affecting the microbiome, the population of good and bad, or the balance, should I say, of bacteria, fungi within our gut. On top of that, there is the massive increase in the ingestion of refined sugar from sources which are often hidden, and it requires a great deal of knowledge and discipline to work out and limit your ingestion of these sugars. So that dietary advice and dietary history and treatment is a huge part, obviously, of what I do. The second thing, really, environment. I live in the UK. It is a damp place, it rains a lot. However, with that, there are more serious consequences, and I am far from an alarmist, but I think the effects of black mold upon individuals' health is massively underestimated from my own experience, and I take that very seriously. A lot of the work came out of the US when there was the flooding in New Orleans, and a lot of the data and information came from there, and I've carried a lot of that over into my own studies in the UK. So a lot of advice is based around environment and black mold particularly. The third thing, medicine. What may have been well-meaning prescription of antibiotics in the past, multiple course of antibiotics often, some of the hormonal contraceptions, some of the anti-inflammatory medications, certainly all the way back to antibiotic dosages at delivery and labour, can have a big influence over the bacteria, the fungi, and the microbiome of an individual, and symptoms can come from that. So we look at that and address that on a personal level. In terms of life, this particularly links in, I think, with the Chinese approach. We live in the information age, and there is a vast array of information coming at us to digest. The Chinese make no differentiation between what we eat and digest and what we take in psychologically to digest, and the organs that are involved in that process, namely the spleen and stomach, are under a lot of duress at the moment. This is not a good period in evolution for the stomach and the spleen, and the symptoms that manifest from stress, if you like, upon the spleen, or an overworked spleen in the Chinese terms, are perfectly applicable and marry perfectly with these Western principles of gut imbalance, and therefore lend themselves perfectly to an acupuncture solution, which is very much part of my treatment. So, as an overview, they're the kind of things that we will discuss in consultation. They are the treatments that are offered. Obviously, there is a limitation to acupuncture treatment if this is an online therapeutic relationship. However, the offering of acupressure, which you can administer to yourself, and other Chinese-based dietary and movement-based exercises can be very, very beneficial. I wish you well with your journey, and I hope I can be of assistance in restoring your balance.